Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Phoenix. I am the College Success Professor, and my mission is to help students get the most out of their college experience so that they can graduate on time and on purpose. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to use the add drop period at your university in order to have the best semester possible. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned. So for those of you who don't know what the add drop period is at your university, at many colleges and universities, that's the time that you are able to take your classes that you're registered for the semester and kind of test them out. So you have a period of time where you're able to add classes or drop classes based on your experience during the first week or the first couple of weeks of the semester. So at your university, you need to find out when that time period is, the deadline for you to add and drop classes. And I'm going to teach you the strategies to use to decide whether you want to remain in a class or to drop the class and try another class for the semester. So let's get started. So the first thing that you want to do when you're deciding to add or drop a class is you need to decide whether you are going to stay in the professor's class. You want to grade the professor. So let's talk about that. So if you're going to grade the professor, you need to do a couple of things because they have some criteria for grading you. So you want to also have some criteria for grading your professor. So there are a couple of ways you can do that. If you're on campus and you have built relationships with upperclassmen in your major or upperclassmen who have taken the professor before, you can definitely ask them what was their experience like in the class. How hard were the exams? What did you learn in the class? All sorts of questions that you can ask students who have had the professor before in order to determine whether or not you want to stay in the class or drop the class. You can also look at the course syllabus. The course syllabus has all sorts of information about the university's policies or the professor's policies regarding attendance, regarding grades, regarding assignments. So look at the syllabus and decide whether or not that this is a class that you're going to be able to be successful in or not during the semester. It also will give you an indication about what is the workload in the class and if you're able to, do all the things that they're asking you to do. So definitely check that out. Also, when you are in the actual class with the professor, you're experiencing how they teach. You're experiencing their teaching style. So is their teaching style going to be something that you are receptive to, something that you're able to learn from? Is it all lecture? If you're online, is the professor actually holding regular classes online where students are actually attending? Do they feel comfortable or do they seem comfortable using technology? Is there opportunities for you to do engaging activities online? So all of these factors will help you to decide whether or not to stay in a class. So two resources that are online that you can use to also assess whether you want to stay in the class and grade your professor are, Google. Google your professor. Type in your professor's name in Google and see what comes up. Are they on social media? Check out their social media accounts. Do they have their own website? What does their website say? So all of that information is good for you to figure out how and if your professor is going to be a good place for you or good experience for you to have during the semester. So there's also another resource, and this resource is called Rate My Professor. So Rate My Professor is a resource. And if you go to the website, ratemyprofessor.com, you can just look up your professor, type in your professor's name, and you'll type it in the search box and a professor's name will come up. So this is a professor who's at Temple University in the communications department. And it gives you an overview of what people have said about her. So she has an overall out of 5, 4.7. So that's good. It gives you some details about, what students take her again. Yes, the level of difficulty of her class. Also, there are definitely people who have assessed and thought and talked about their experience in class, so you can read through all of the different reviews of the professor. But keep in mind that, it's subjective. These are people's opinions, and, you don't want to take just one opinion into account. Like when you're looking at reviews online for something you want to purchase, there may be a good review and there may be a bad review. So you want to count and weigh out what people's opinions are and if they actually resonate with you and what you want from your professor. So they also talk about she has clear grading criteria. She gives good feedback. Participation in class matters. So this is also good for you to know as a student about, what the professor grades on. So if whether or not you stay in the class or not, it'll give you some insights about what the professor does and what the professor likes with regard to working with students. So hopefully those resources are going to be helpful for you with regard to figuring out whether or not you're going to stay in the class or not. So the next strategy that we have is, let me pull that up again. The next strategy that we have is whether or not you are up to the challenge. So are you up to the challenge in the class? All right, let's see. Are you up to the challenge in the class? All right, so are you up to the challenge in the class? And that means you need to do some assessment of yourself with regard to your experience in the subject. So many times you have had some experiences in high school, which you will bring to you with the college experience. So that means if you have had positive experiences, or you say you think you were really good in math, or you're a really good writer, then you may have some confidence with regard to your readiness for the college level work. So that's a part of you being ready to the challenge. If you had a class that was the high school version of the college class that you're taking now, you may be ready for the challenge. However, if you've had some negative experiences, you've had some math anxiety, or you didn't do well in the course in high school, you may have some anxiety or feelings of dread with regard to your first semester or this upcoming semester. So these are all factors you want to consider. Your mindset is important with regard to how you're going to have a successful semester in college. So all of these are important factors. Also, if you have an opportunity to have been assigned an assignment during the first week of classes, that'll give you some insights into the for the assignment clear? Do they have a rubric? And a rubric is basically a criteria by which you're going to be graded for the assignment. Does it have to be a certain amount of pages? Does it have to have a certain amount of resources if it's a paper? All of that information is going to be good for you to assess whether you're going to stay in the class or not. Also, you want to think about if this is a hard course. Historically, there are courses within universities that are historically difficult and, that a lot of students don't pass. There are many introductory courses or foundational courses that have this description. So if this is a hard course, are you up to the challenge of doing the work that's required to getting the grade that you need? Many courses have prerequisites, and prerequisites are the courses that you need in order to transfer to the next course in your major or for your required degree. So is this a prerequisite course? And, is this going to help you build the foundational knowledge that you need for your major? All of these are great factors and important factors for you to decide whether or not you're going to be successful in the course. Is there a lot of reading? Are there a lot of assignments? All of these are important factors for you to decide whether or not you're going to be successful in the course. So the next thing, are there resources available? So if it is a challenging course and you've decided that it's going to be a challenging course, that doesn't mean you have to drop the course automatically. There are going to be a lot of challenging courses, perhaps one each semester or more than one each semester, that you're going to have to get through when you're in college. But it's up to you. Are you up to the challenge? Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to do what it takes to get the grade you want in the class? That is so important. And oftentimes, we are going to need some additional support that will help us to reach those goals. So are you open and willing to ask for the help that you need in order to be successful? Are you open and willing to ask questions of your professor? Are you willing to go to office hours with your professor? Going to office hours early will help you to assess whether going to office hours at all will be helpful for you. Is your professor able to break down concepts and ideas for you one-on-one in a class environment? Perhaps if you're uncomfortable asking questions in class, office hours will provide you the opportunity to ask questions in a one-on-one environment. So are you willing to use those resources? Is there tutoring offered for that class? Hopefully there is, especially if you're online. Check and see if there's online tutoring offered for the class and how that will work. That's important to know way before you are in trouble. How are these resources going to be accessible to you? Also, many times students overlook a key resource that is available, and that's the textbook. If you are looking at the textbook and it's breaking down material in a different way, are there graphs, graphics, infographics, diagrams, information that is clearly outlined for you? Is there opportunity for you to do some practice with regard to understanding the material, with regard to review questions at the end of the chapter? Are those things, are they resources that are going to be helpful for you? Also, we also know that Khan Academy is a great resource for breaking down concepts that are not necessarily broken down in the classroom. Are there resources regarding Khan Academy and other online resources, Google, for you to help you figure out and understand and be successful in the course? These are all important things for you to consider when you are looking to decide whether to stay or to drop a class. So that is the fourth strategy. And now we're on the fifth strategy. And it's some also reflection on your part. Do you like the subject matter? Are you interested in the topic? Does it excite you? Are you enthusiastic about it? Is it something that, you really like? Is it a class in your major? So all of these are important factors. Is it a general education requirement that can perhaps open you up to different majors or minors or possibilities? If you are truly interested and engaged in the subject matter, that is definitely something you want to do, want to major in and want to stay in. However, if you're not as engaged or interested in the subject matter, but it's a requirement of the course, is that something that you can turn, are there topics within that subject matter that you can find interesting that will sway your opinion or your mindset with regard to the class? So being interested in the subject matter is important, but you also may have some prerequisites. So this may be something that you just have to get through in order to be successful in your major and to progress with regard to your degree. So that was the 5 strategies, but there is one more bonus strategy for you to look at with regard to being successful in the semester. And this bonus strategy may be for upperclassmen, but always keep this in the back of your mind. So many students have a restriction with regard to how many classes they can register for in a semester. Maybe it's 18 classes, but you usually don't want to take all 18 classes in a semester. Some students can do it, but many find that level of classes to be overwhelming. But my strategy, the bonus strategy, is to register for the maximum amount of credits that you can possibly take during the semester. That way, you'll have more of an opportunity. I like to think of it this way. For example, if you have an event that you're going to and you don't know what you're going to wear, you may order more outfits than you need, and then you can decide what exactly you're going to wear. So register for more classes than you actually need, and then go through these different steps, these 5 steps, to assess whether you're going to drop the class or not. And then your final classes, your 15 credits or your 16 credits for the semester, will be better able to be decided on, because you're able to try out the classes, try out the professors, look at the syllabi in order to make an informed decision about how you're going to be successful in the class. So that is the bonus strategy for students if you are actually upperclassmen. So let me tell you about how you can also get a lead magnet. Give me a second. Let me show you how you can actually get this strategy for being successful in class through my website. All right, so on my website, collegesuccessprofessor.com, I have created this document that will help you to figure out how to decide whether to add or drop a class in the semester. So it tells you all the information that you need, kind of all the things that I've talked about today, and it gives you a checklist of different things that you should do in order to be successful and deciding whether or not you're going to stay in the class. It'll give you an opportunity to map out your classes on your schedule so that you can make sure you're managing your time with regard to studying, doing the classwork, doing the reading, doing the projects and the assignments that you need. And also it gives you some questions that I've been asking throughout the video that you can reflect on and to decide whether or not you're going to be successful in the actual class. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out my website, collegesuccessprofessor.com. If you're interested in learning more strategies and tips and information about how to be successful in class, in college, then definitely check out my podcast, which is Office Hours with the College Success Professor. I have a watch list, a playlist for that podcast, also linked below. Definitely check me out and follow me on other social media. All that information is in the description box. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.